Oh, bloody hell. It's been so long since I've done a bloody podcast. I've just been putting it off because I've been comatose from a horrible car accident that I got into that gave me COVID. And so I had complications from that, and I had to spend some time at Royal Perth Hospital. And I woke up from it about 2.5 weeks ago, but then when I saw the hospital bill, I went back into that coma. It just sounds like studio audience laughter. Credits appear over my flashbacks of my life as I die. I guess that's what death is all about. Before we get kicked off into things, something that was happening to me recently, I really do have COVID. I was watching this video that I used to, a music video that I used to watch a lot as when I was like 20 years old, around about 19 maybe. From this band that I don't even really like that much, but I don't know, just this video in particular, I'm not sure, it's just something that I watched a lot. And for some reason I was watching it again recently, and I was like scrubbing through it, this music video, and I was just getting like a really bad vibe out of like everyone in the music video. Like the music itself, it's like a rap video. I'll tell you what it is in a sec. It's from Das Racist. It's Ek Shanish, or whatever. You know that music video where it's just like, it's not even it's just them like hanging around New York in Queens, I guess. Just, dicking around. Nothing particularly special. I kind of find it funny, I guess. But watching it again, I was just like bothered by everyone, not just the rappers, but like their friends or whatever that would just show up in the video. I'm just like bothered by the look of them. I'm just like, I'm just getting like this, I don't know. And it's especially the one rapper, Cool AD. I don't know why, like just looking at him and like the way he raps, he just sounds like he's it's hard to put into words, but I was getting a feeling that he'd been Me Too'd in recent years. And I looked it up on Wikipedia just to confirm that he hadn't, but he had. He had some sort of allegations recently, or at least in somewhat recent years. I was just looking at all these guys, especially him, just being like, I don't trust these guys' face. I don't trust their faces. And there's no way to like really, I just don't trust the vibe that I get off them. And that's not like that's prejudice. It's not a good way of like going about trying to see if someone's been Me Too'd. But I mean, it has occurred. I don't know, just a bunch of like sexual assault from when he was married, and like 3 other women in a certain amount of time. And he says he believes, this is the guy. He believes that all encounters were to have been consensual, but apologized anyway. Oh, well, which one is it? So what I'm trying to say is that consent is, what am I trying to say? Prejudice is fine. It's perfectly fine. And maybe most times you're right. Anyway, speaking of sexual assault, let's talk about Joker Fleur de. Because it's kind of been wild what's been happening since the film's release. For like, it feels like the whole film's like judgment and criticism and reception has all been like in the week that it came out. And I'm a little surprised at how hostile it was and how everyone hated it and it got bad reviews. Fans hated it. People didn't even watch it. It just failed to make any money. In terms of the money, the first one made $1 billion, and that was way more than I think I or anyone expected. So for the second one to kind of strike lightning again, it wasn't going to work. But because it made so much money, obviously the studio's like, make another. Oh no, now you underperformed, fuck you. Well, I've really been looking into all this criticism and everything, and a lot of it just seems very, honestly, memey to me. I like the movie, and I watched it at a critic screening. Yes, that's right. That's a good thing about seeing these films sometimes at a critic screening, is that like you go in like, let's just have a look at the film. Like even with this film, as much as I really enjoyed the first one, and I've seen it a bunch of times, and like, I'd say the first time I saw the first Joker was the time that I enjoyed it the least. Like watching it again and again, maybe like it more actually. So it's good to see the second one with like with nothing going in, because I went into it like just, oh well, whatever. I'm not excited. I don't get excited about anything. I'm a grown man. I'm an adult, and anything could be disappointing, as it seems that's happened to people watching this film. And I guess I was a little disappointed. I have my criticisms about it, but I'm not just like shitting in my pants about it. Just, oh man, this film is like a middle finger to the audience. It's just like the director and the actors and everyone are just flipping me off for 2 hours and 18 minutes. Oh, what the fuck? You need to be sucking my dick instead. I want this film to suck my dick and give me what I want. I want to come in the theater. I don't know. I like a movie that just sticks its finger to me up my bum. I like a movie that like gives me the middle finger. Like a film just having like, kind of an antagonistic treatment of the audience, being like, oh, is this what you expect? Oh, is this what you want? You think it's going to go this way? Well, I'm not saying it's like just a total subversion, but that it just mixes it up and kind of goes against, what's going to be like a satisfying way for the film to go about with like, what the audience is wanting from it. Look, I'll get first into just like what I felt about the film, because when I watched the film and not having any kind of, surrounding criticisms to affect my own criticism, I just watched it like, oh yeah, ha ha, it's a funny film, and then that was it. Where to really begin? I mean, I felt like the first one, this one opens up where it just seems a little bit upright, where it's just like, oh, look at our poor Arthur Fleck anti-hero. Well, he's a villain, actually. Fucking no villain main character. Oh, what a poor guy. Look at his life. It's so sad and everything. And like now he's in like a mental prison. He's in Arkham Asylum. So it's kind of just, laying out the issues that he has there. It seems fine enough. I think things kind of open up a bit more once he meets the Harley Quinn character. And I guess really, to me, existentially, I like this movie because it isn't just another downer. It isn't just, oh, Joker, he's sad again. Just that kind of thing. He's like, got a love in his life now. He got a girlfriend. So it does. I think that really makes a contrast to the first film, and especially aesthetically, because it is a musical. It's got its musical numbers here and there for sure. And even that, like, I thought, oh, that's cool. Like, I dig that. I liked it. Like, when I heard about this, like, a year or however long ago about this film, I was like, that's cool. At least that just makes it different from the first one. And that makes sense because he's happy. Oh, he wants to sing about the love in his life now. I think that's fine. And funnily enough, that, like, for this film coming out now, and when Joker, the incel story, came out back then, all that kind of mirrors my own life. So that's all very nice and kind of complements each other. So I can feel even more like of a personal connection with these films and everything. So I think that's fine. But even like these musical numbers, maybe I knew it before going in, but I got that they were going to be like real grassroots. It wasn't going to be like, full on, trash can stomping, jumping off walls and all this kind of. If the film had all of that, it was overly choreographed and it had a whole bunch of that shit with like Joker and like 10 people behind him dressed in like those clown costumes from the first movie, doing a whole like choreographed thing and like jumping into pools and like doing all synchronized swimming and all that kind of stuff. People were like, oh man, this is great. I love all the choreographed, the design is amazing, it makes it a good film. No, it's just a more personal, intimate kind of song and dance. And even like I read that Lady Gaga, she was like, well, I gotta sing worse than I usually do. I'm not just belting out the hits because I am not Lady Gaga in the film, I am Harley Quinn, so I can't really sing that much, and neither can Arthur Fleck. But it's not about that. There's been musicals out before where it's like, oh, it's not about really if you can sing or dance. It's just still putting through the emotion of the character. So that was all fine, all right? Yeah, I think the musical numbers are fine. I mean, is always fun to have like a really wacky, big kind of one and everything. But I think it just suits the tone that this film is going for, where Arthur keeps like going off into his own head and having these like fantasies to get himself out of the world that he's in, whether it's in Arkham Asylum or it's in the courtroom or he's getting it up the bum in the prisons, in his tank prison cell and whatever. So I felt like they were all fine, but I do think when it comes to the courtroom scenes, I mean, this would be my criticism where, like the courtroom scenes are just like, it's just like, a recap. When you watch an episode of something like Dragon Ball Z and they have like a recap of the last few episodes and everything leading up. Like that's what the courtroom scenes feel like, unfortunately. And I was just sitting there thinking, oh, well, it's just going over what happened in the first film and what the characters felt about it. Like that's it. You just got like the black chick and the midget and the ghost of Christmas Past. I mean the ghost of the fat guy that he stabbed. And you're watching it all just like they're just reiterating what went over in the first film, and it doesn't really matter. Like I guess it's just like, oh, it's cool to have that actor come back and that actor, and what they had the psychologist as well. Who cares? Yeah, you got your Harvey Dent going over it and everything, talking about what happened in the first film. Like, I don't need to hear it again. If this was all, I don't know, more montagey and they kind of really truncated it down and like just made a trailer out of it and it was just went by in like 5 minutes, that would be more suitable, and you would get the film kind of, the film would be a bit shorter, which would be nice because it is a bit long as is. But on the other hand, some of the courtroom parts I like. The parts I like is Joker. Like, I found this film to be quite funnier. Like, I was laughing. The first film is funny, but more on like the second and third viewing. This film, first viewing, I found it to be pretty funny, like immediately. Like it came across evidently just more comical. And again, that ties in with, Joker being happier and having like an actual spark in his life rather than being a Debbie Downer, an incel downer. Like there's this bit where he's like, he's having, he's in court and he's having this whole, he has this big like dance and song musical thing. And then when he comes out of it, he just like interrupts his like own psychologist or lawyer or whoever. He just goes, I can't take it anymore. I want to represent myself. This is all so boring. And I'm like, yeah, you goddamn right, actually. And then he actually dresses as Joker and presents himself that way in the courtroom. And he has this southern accent that he puts on. And that all made me like think that, I don't know, people are going to be saying Joaquin Phoenix's like his performance ain't that great in this film now. I think it is because it's just a bit more comical and it's just a bit funnier than how it was before. So I liked all that, and I liked how he's just, again, like, it's tying in with the Joker character. He's not taking it seriously, this whole courtroom presentation. I just wish it could have been a bit shorter and just not gone over. Like, it doesn't really seem to be adding much. Like, and you want to see this continuation of the character from the first film because everything else happening in this film makes sense. Like, he has, like, the status to him, but he can't, maybe not so much in prison. It's because you can't just be out in the world and be like, oh, signing autographs and everything. He doesn't have that, but at least you've got this one person that, like, gives him love, but in a bit of a twisted way, in that kind of like celebrity kind of way. And not even celebrity, but like, a real menace to society. I can't say like, the whole production of the film is all very nice. There is like very good, cinematography. There's a number of shots where there's a number of shots that look like they're very staged, and you think, oh, this must have taken a few takes to get right and everything. Like a bit where that she puts a smile on like the window that's between him and her when he's talking to her through the prison screen, whatever, and he smiles into it. It's very nice, as we saw in the trailer, and like some other parts, just cinematographically look very nice, especially with, some of these bits with the song and dance numbers. I mean, yeah, they do like kind of have a bit more going in them with how they're showing them with the lighting and everything. I mean, I think the first film had like a best cinematography like Oscar nomination, and it's quite green and dour. But I feel like in this one there is a bit more sort of going on. I think they did a pretty good job. I think the music though is fine, but it's pretty reiterative of the first film's music. It's just that same cello, and a lot of the time I'm just hearing like the same themes from the first film. Like I could just recognize the music, and I'm like, oh, they just copied and pasted it into this film. Guess the composer of the music was just busy. I'll just like take the same music and play it again. That's what it sounded like to me, but with a bit more, just slightly different mixing here and there, and adding a little percussion, I guess. And the big thing about the film really is just like how much damn smoking there is. Like I've never been so affected by so much smoking in a film. Like I guess you don't really see it too much recently in films, but in this one you do, and it becomes like part of the dancing. I'm not really too sure what to say about it all, but obviously it just makes him look cool. He's like, yeah, man, I don't care if I die of lung cancer and all this. It just, I mean, it certainly adds to like, how they're presenting in the dance numbers, this whole, with the lighting and the shadows and having the smoke does make it like, I don't know, look a bit cooler, and look at having a bit of a smoke screen there. I'm not really sure how it's, I don't know. I'm not sure if there's anything there. I think it's just part of the aesthetics of the film rather than anything thematic. But I'm not too sure. I mean, I've only seen the film the one time, and I wouldn't mind checking it out again. I mean, I was thinking about it. I felt bad for the film. I was like, oh no, it's making so little money. I'll spend $100 million to watch it like a whole bunch more times, I suppose. But to get into like criticisms of it, like I guess at the end, the climax is kind of thin as to what happens with Joker. Like he just admits that he's not the Joker, and everyone's like, oh well, fuck you then, I guess, even though you still did all the things you did that I like, but you can no longer, just because you say you're not that persona anymore, then that takes away from what you are, huh? I don't know, and that's how Harley Quinn feels. And then when he meets up with her, she's like, oh, I don't like you anymore. Bye-bye. And then that's kind of it. But, then again, I guess that kind of is in tune with, like, her character, because she's just a fucking hussy. She's just using him for street cred, and that's it. And now that, like, no one likes him anymore, she's like, oh, you're just some fucking incel now, are ye? I'm not dating you anymore. You don't have that cool factor. You don't have the tood. But I don't know. It did seem like quite a quick revert, like 180. Like she's just infatuated with him. She thinks she's gonna be his real, like, side bitch, mistress, and then all of a sudden she just doesn't want him anymore. Yeah, I don't know. I'm in two minds about it, but it does sort of feel like it makes the climax kind of thin. Oh, by the way, spoilers. But I did like how at the end, what happened? Like after, I think it says he's back in Arkham Asylum, and they're saying, "Oh, you got a visitor," but before he can even go and see who it is, I think like it was going to be her, maybe. But then he ends up getting stabbed by this other guy, which I thought was cool. I thought that was a surprise. I wasn't expecting that. Like even when he's telling him the joke, and then he just goes ahead and does it. And then people are saying that this guy who stabbed him is actually the Joker, and that the Joker died in this movie. But I gotta say, you don't see him die, nobody says, and this is the new Joker. It's only a heavy implication. I mean, it doesn't even really seem to show Joker dying. But, I mean, he might as well have, because there's not going to be a third fucking film now, is there? We've just got these two films, and that's it. And so I guess that is really it for Joker. Like I don't know, it's a very morose ending. Like it's just, he goes through all this. Like there's so much like build up for like, happiness and like love in his life. And even though he's like, facing the death penalty, and I guess he ends up getting it at the end, there just seemed to be, there was this like spark of joy in his life, but it's just so unfairly taken away from right at the end. It just ends on such a downer note. But that I think is, somewhat, in some ways, justified for the film and in terms of its story and what it's trying to go for and how it makes these reversals in the end. That, it's a bit misanthropic as well. Just like all these people that are all like, oh, we love you, Joker, yay, and especially with her. And then all of a sudden they're just like, oh, I don't like you anymore. I think that's pretty fair, actually. There are a lot of like cases like that where, someone just like slightly, a celebrity, a well-known figure, just slightly does something wrong. Everyone's like, oh, they start digging up all the dirt, like, oh, look, and then when they did this as well, remember that? Oh, fuck this person, I'm never, falling in love with a celebrity again. And it's funny because, and people are saying like this is like metafiction and it's about how actual audiences feel about Joker as a character in these films. But man, he is a fucking villain. You're not supposed to like him in a genuine way, only as a movie character. I mean, he killed a bunch of people in the first one, not entirely out of self-defense. He really fucked around. And so are you really supposed to like him? No. So what if he gets killed at the end? I guess, there was just this expectation that it was going to be more in line with like the whole DC Batman shit. And, I guess for the film to open up saying it's from DC Films, okay. But I'm not really having that expectation. I'm going in just watching a film, and this is a sequel to just that movie. So I'm at least comparing it to that, but I'm not comparing it in terms of like it being in a world of DC where there's just all this expectation of like, oh, I need to see Batman, and I want Joker to grow up, to be like this, and to do all these things, and Harley Quinn's with him, and they become deranged, and he gets all these tattoos on his face. I can't believe people are saying, like, immediately after this film came out, but they were like, oh man, turns out Jared Leto wasn't the worst Joker, or at least wasn't in the worst Joker film after all. And it's not like I've seen Suicide Squad or anything. So I guess I can't comment on that piece of shit. I haven't eaten it, so I can't comment on the taste of it. But but one of my friends did. He said he saw Suicide Squad, and he said he hated it, and he was just like, oh, this fucking movie is just like a fucking 2-hour trailer. It's horrible. So I very much doubt, still, that Jared Leto is not the worst Joker, it turns out. No, perfectly fine with like a more... less like, ooh, out in the, what needs to be canonized in the DC, if it's just like a more down-to-earth, grounded, character study kind of sort of film approach to this Joker character. And I'm pretty fine with it just being these two films now. I'm happy enough with this film, so fuck the haters. You had the first one, and that became like... It was... I was surprised by how much of a hit that became in terms of like the awards and the box office and the critical, maybe not so much critical reception, but just like the general reception from audiences where they're like, oh, this movie's great, hey? And whatever. But then I'm surprised now by this one in terms of the opposite. Like, I guess people are just like, I'm not going ahead and watching some faggy musical. Why is the Joker a musical movie? I mean, I just explained why I think it's fine for it to be. It's like... it's part of the aesthetics of this proper continuation of this character and how it contrasts this vibe with the first one, while still feeling like it's got the DNA of the first movie. It doesn't feel like it's probably got a bit too much of the same DNA. It's got like the same music and it still feels like, it's just like a downbeat kind of thing. I mean, I guess it's a bit different because of the situation that Joker is in. When I saw this at the critic screening, this critic lady that I was sitting next to, she was saying that she hadn't even like seen the first one, so she's watching. And I'm like, wow, it's just weird to think. But I mean, it's almost like, she might as well watch the first one, but it's almost like you don't need to because they go over everything that happened in the first one in this movie. So big whoop. I don't know. People just seem to be bothered by the whole metafiction of like, how this film was just really, I don't know. I was just reading on Wikipedia about the whole stuff about like Harley Quinn and how she's infatuated with the Joker, and that she even says she saw a TV movie about his whole thing, and how this is like relating to like Joker as a movie itself, and how fans are like turning on the Joker and everything. Well, I mean, that's actually what happened. The metafiction actually came true. Like when Joker says in the film that he's not the Joker, like literal fans in real life are going, "Oh no, I want my Joker. Why is he not?" Oh well, but too bad. It doesn't matter. We got the two films. I think they contrast well with each other. And even though I've got some like, I still like the first one, somewhat a decent amount more. I still think the second one is good. It's just the differences between the two that seems to work well, and then the similarities are what not works well. Anyway, that's my onion about this whole film and the whole hysteria about it, and everyone just going like, "Oh, butt rape," and everything. I gotta admit, I didn't even register that when I watched the movie, and then people started talking about it. I'm like, does he? And I was thinking, when they take him into the bathroom and start beating him up, and then he doesn't have his pants on when they take him to the jail cell, it didn't register with me. I was just like, they just took him off. And I saw someone say like, well, they might not have raped him. They might have just stuck a baton up his baton. So yeah, I mean, again, it's just implied shit that people are just, people are acting like a Harley Quinn bitch and just being like, "Oh, why are you gonna stick your finger up his ass? Why does he have to die at the end? Why does this guy have to be the other thing?" And just taking all these implications as gospel and not getting what they wanted or what they expected from the film. So too bad. I mean, people are just like bothered that is a plot point in the movie. I mean, I guess it just doesn't, I don't know, people are just too wrapped up in like what they expected from like the Joker and everything. And I think the more of a fan you are of DC and him in the comic books and everything, the less a fan you're going to be of this movie, because it just goes in its own grounded direction. So too fucking bad. And I really like the animation at the beginning of this film. It's very cool as well. It's a very good way to start the movie. And I think that's going to be the thing. I haven't seen people talk about that thing that much, but I feel like if they did, they would say it was the best part of the film. I'm sure I could look it up on YouTube right now, and the first comment would be like, "The only good scene in this movie, this should have been the movie and nothing else. Fucking musical, courtroom, romance bullshit." Anyway, whatever. Continuing on with like the hate from people and everything. Let's talk about. This is so untopical because this came out even before Joker, but like just a couple of trailers. First of all, the Minecraft trailer, I guess. Boy, I can't wait for that film. People really hated on that. Just looking at it, thinking, it like looks weird. The effects look strange. The design of the animals all look weird, and just. It doesn't seem funny, like the characters seem weird even just the way they look. And it just doesn't seem like funny or, enjoyable at all. And I'm like, what did you expect from a trailer for the Minecraft movie? It's a fucking Minecraft movie. I mean, it's just one of those games that you look at and like, well, how am I supposed to adapt this? Even stylistically, the game is, all pixelated, So how are you supposed to, like, transpose that into, like, a film? Like, looking at the fucking shitty Super Mario Bros. Movie. At least the new Super Mario Bros. Games, they have, like, almost that CGI look to them. So you can easily, stylistically, transpose that into the movie. But even with that movie, it just couldn't make the leap from video game to movie, because a video game is a thing that you like play and compete with and kind of advance through kind of in your own pace and everything, and you have that reward with that, like if you yourself controlling it are able to make it work. But in a movie you're just watching it, and it's just so damn boring, and like there's no narrative propulsion at all that you're watching. You're just like, oh, he's just trying it again and again, and doesn't add up to anything, and they have to like force all this shit in. So I imagine Minecraft the movie will be the same way. And why are people expecting? I guess this is probably coming from people that liked the Super Mario Bros. Movie. They're probably like, oh man, that movie was pretty. Oh, I just like, just watching it for the vibe, I guess. Oh wow, I'm just watching it for the pretty colors. I want to watch that movie lying on my back with my legs up, like cooing at it like a goddamn baby. I mean, people might as well be doing the same with Minecraft. I just don't understand. Like, what did you expect? Like, I watched the Minecraft trailer and I'm like, yep, this is what it is. This is what it's meant to look like. I don't know. I mean, I looked at all the animals in it and I'm like, they look fine. Like, they look blocky, but not pixelated. So, how else are you supposed to make it look like a Minecraft movie? I don't know, man. Shut up. And then another movie trailer people were bothered by, which made no fucking sense to me, was Gladiator 2. Again, a film I don't give a fuck about because I don't care about the first Gladiator. I don't think I'm going to watch it again in the lead up to this one. No fucking way. Barely watch enough movies as it is. I ain't got no time for this shit. And who cares about Ridley Scott these days? But I am going to be seeing it at a fucking screening soon. But this trailer, people were saying, like, oh, they're playing rap music. They're playing, the Watch the Throne song in the trailer. What the fuck? This has nothing to do with Roman times of, what is it, 420 BC or whatever. Whatever specific time that is. They didn't have rap music back then. Why are they playing this? This doesn't make sense. Like, what would you prefer? Would you prefer classical music from, like, Europe in the 1500s, 1700s, whatever? This classical music that has more of a modern take to it, so it actually sounds more like the 2000s kind of classical music, and it actually sounds like classical music that's composed specifically for a film. Would you prefer that? Yeah, that's better. That's less of a anachronism. What is with these people? You can play any music. You can play like electronic. You can play, Wiz Khalifa or whoever. I don't know, man. It doesn't matter, and it's just people were so bothered by the rap song playing, and well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, what other kind of music do you want there to be played? Does it really affect the movie that much? Anyway, who cares about this movie? Like, are people that excited? I don't even know how Gladiator became such a big hit back in the day. I don't remember, and when I finally watched it, I'm like, is that it? Very interesting kind of best picture winner, I guess. Harry Diarrhea, because who cares? I've been seeing a few films in the cinemas recently. Well, as usual. But I keep noticing this one ad that keeps coming up for Maltesers. I've started to miss ads because of how insidious they are. Ads are very like, they're like, oh, you're like this person. Aren't you a dummy? You're a fucking dumb cunt. Hey, buy our product. Take part in our service. And this Maltesers one isn't quite like that. It's just a fucking... And it's for the cinema. Like, it shows these chicks in a cinema. Sometimes, like, in an ad, you want some kind of... It could be a narrative. There's some kind of story that has, like, a setup, rise, and climax. And then, bam, here's the product. As you've just seen in this story, wouldn't you have benefited from this product, you dumb fuck? You drove through a house because you're a fucking old... dumb moron, you stupid elderly piece of shit. I mean, these ads really, especially like car or house insurance ads or car insurance ads. I am thinking literally about an ad where these old people drive through a house, and all insurance ads are the same. Some person acts like a dumb cunt. A whole bunch of bad shit happens. Like someone's house burns down because someone drove through it, and the person owning the house just goes, "Oh, that's okay. I'm not really bothered because I have the insurance, so they'll pay for it, so it doesn't matter, really." We'll even pay for, accommodation for me and my family while the house gets repaired. Like, this is nothing. It's like, like losing a little thing. Like, who cares? Like, yeah, that's right. When you even if your house actually gets like fully like insured in that kind of way, like, really, you're not bothered at all. Just like, oh well, oh, my car's totaled, but that's okay. I can get a new one. I'm not gonna have to go through all this paperwork and phone calls and like, oh wait, no, can you actually make sure I thought I was meant to get more than, and then making sure it's the right model and like dealing with that whole shit. And it's like, oh god, it's 3 months later, I still haven't got my new car. Damn it. That's bad enough, and having with a house and everything. Anyway, so this ad I saw at the cinemas, the cinema Maltesers ad, still these like the cinema with some people in it, not too many because it's modern day cinemas, and they're watching Joker. And there's these two chicks, and all it is they're eating Maltesers, and they're going like, oh, nice, tasty. But then they're like, kind of acting all sexual, like they're sexually moaning about it, start fingering each other. And some of the people in the audience are like, whoa, like a guy's like, oh, getting red in the face, and there's an older lady like, oh, I'll have what they're having. If she had said that, like that would have legitimately at least been a fucking joke in the ad that has a connection to a movie, because at least because this is a cinema ad, And that's all that happens. And then it just says Maltesers fucking, cunt cream. Eat them. The new cunt cream flavor. It is kind of similar to one of my favorite Bill Hicks jokes about Coke should have an ad where it starts off with a headshot of like a beautiful woman, and it starts zooming out, and it shows like it shows her tits. She's got her tits right out. Huge, big breasts, and then it keeps zooming out, and it shows she's got her legs spread, and she's just fingering her wet pussy, and then it just says drink Coke. Yeah, it's getting pretty damn close to those kinds of ads, I guess. Well, not that I'm buying, $9 Maltesers from the cinema, like a small pack like that, and eating them, but Maltesers are good. All right, let's end up this podcast with a bit of bullying, because let me quickly check, because not that I keep seeing like those. I was talking about like YouTube videos. If I go to my homepage on YouTube, like the recommended ones, like I get a lot of recommended videos for like, oh, why, slightly cancelled celebrity has been an arsehole their whole career. I'm mostly talking about Dave Grohl. Like, who gives a fuck? Just keep your nose in your own business. But hey, if you release a video like that now, you get like 1 million views in 3 days or whatever. So, gotta make that money, man. Gotta make that YouTube money. And make sure not to mention, don't say the naughty words that YouTube advertisers don't like die and kill. Just say unalive and, unalive themselves and all this ridiculous shit. Instead, because you got to get that money, it makes these, videos that sound like they were written by a retarded AI, because you got to make that YouTube money. Oh man, I'm getting hungry. So anyway, so some of the recommended videos I get are the other way around. They're actually, I look at them and I'm like, oh, it has like 300 views, and they were released like 4 days ago. And I don't know, I'm a little bit weird myself, because I watch like videos of VHS stuff. Anyway, I don't know, don't even ask. But so I guess like I get a lot of recommendations for like autistic people on YouTube who like have big VHS collections, or just like autistic people in general. And I'm trying to find this one guy. Like, I'll see if he even pops up. Okay, so this is a bit like what his videos are like. So it's just him like talking to camera, and he says, and what it is that he posits a hypothetical situation for the viewers, and he says what it is and asks a question about it, but it's also in the description of the video. So it's almost like, a transcript of it is in the description. But I think he says a bit more in the video where he's like, hey guys, how are you going, YouTubers and everything? Okay, so Okay, get ready. This is going to take me a while to get through. It's a big description, and it's a big question, and I think it's one sentence, and it's a hell of a sentence. So here we go. This is what he's asking in a video that got uploaded like today. Here it is. Let me have a drink of water first. It says here in the description, since GAC AMC Network just recently did the movie marathon all day today from 3 a.m. till 3 p.m. once again today, and 8 right now doing the Frasier 1993 to 2004 sitcom, in which GAC AMC Network keeps the show the way it is, and Home Movies animated TV show created by Justin Schromm and Brendan Small, marathon at 3 to 10 p.m. tonight, and tonight at 10 p.m. till 2 a.m. tomorrow morning is the Cheers 1982 to 1993 sitcom and Dr. Katz professional therapist animated TV show created by Justin Schromm, Jonathan Katz, and Tom Snyder, Marathon. What would happen if Brendan Small, his mum Paula Small, Jack McGuire, Justin Schromm, with tattoos and as a kind and respected movie critic / kind and respected actor, producer, writer, and director from New Jersey, born and raised in Arizona. Jack's young sister, Karen McGuire, also Justin Schromm. I think this Justin Schromm is like this guy making the videos. Also Justin Schromm, with tattoos and as a heavy metal musician from Arizona. Jack and Karen's mum, Joanne McGuire, Paula Poundstone, as a bookkeeper / talented actress, producer, writer, and director from New York City. Jack and Karen's father, Robert McGuire, who's taller than Joan McGuire, Paula Poundstone, is, as a World War II veteran cop, also from Arizona, also Justin Schromm. Jack and Karen's aunt, Daisy McGuire, is a nurse, Sigourney Weaver, also Joanne's sister from New York City, and Jack and Karen's aunt, Meryl McGuire, Meryl Streep, also Robert McGuire's young sister from Arizona, as a stay-at-home aunt, all saw all of that today and tonight on GAC AMC Network. And while they all saw all of that today and tonight on GAC AMC Network, what pizzas and sodas would they all get? So that's one of the videos that he's made like that. This guy has over 5,000 videos, and most of them are like that. I mean, I'm trying to understand, like, because when I mention those actors' names, they're in the brackets. So are they like, are they the voice actors of this guy's imaginary Home Movies, the animated show spin-off that he has with these actors doing voices? I don't know, but I understand this whole autistic itch that you got to scratch, you know. I mean, I've got a bit of it myself, I guess. I don't know. I've got... but it's not to like this level, and it's not to this level about like... I don't know. And I swear to God, like, so many of these videos have what seems to be just about that exact same question. It's not just like, oh, what would they do if they went to the park? What would they do if... No, it's about if they watched all these marathons on TV and what pizzas and sodas they get. What the fuck? And there's thousands of videos like this. Oh my God. I mean, it actually says here, like, it's like his series of Home Movies questions. This is like almost the exact same one. It's just got different marathons that he's talking about. But it's the same question. It says here, what pizzas and sodas would they all get? This is Home Movies questions number 878. Jesus. Well, now that I've clicked on these videos again, I hope that I'm gonna keep getting recommended these like almost exact same. Oh my God, man! I'm impressed and disturbed. That's all I can really say about this whole thing. And that's it, you know. I mean, who am I to judge? Well, no, I will judge. That's weird. I mean, I'm making these podcasts and everything, but it's not like every podcast I make is like, what would happen if Joker, Arthur Fleck, and Harley Quinn, and Harvey Dent, and all these, and the Robert De Niro character all sat at home watching The Simpsons marathon from 9 a.m. till 9 p.m. What pizzas and sodas would they get? And I just did that for like years and years on end, and this guy's made like more of those videos than I have podcasts by far. But hey, my podcasts are top quality content where I talk about topical things and I talk about, you know, the latest, and I'm so far behind, you know. I'm talking about Gaza when there's been a ceasefire already. Oh no, don't joke about that. Don't even talk about that. I don't know, man. Yeah, I am hungry. Anyway, good night, people. And this has been the David Morgan Brown Experience. I'm back. Oh, why did I take so long without? Oh boy, isn't this so fun to do? Oh, isn't this so enjoyable? I can't wait for this to ruin my life again. Can't wait to be cancelled again. Oh, what are you doing making fun of autistic people? Leave them alone. No, I wasn't making fun of them. I was just saying what they were saying in the YouTube videos. Oh, anyway. Look, I didn't want to mention the guy's name, but, you know, I guess you can look it up now. Although I'm sure there's a whole bunch of other people that also have, you know, hundreds and hundreds of videos of these, like, very specific questions. Although they're actually all just about the same. About fucking home movies. Home movies. Like, where can I watch this show? Now I want to watch this show for some reason. Oh, look at this. What is this? Right, yeah, Brendan Small is the creator of it. Oh my god. Looks like I'll have to just torrent it. Although maybe it... Oh. I thought this YouTube video was like a marathon of like a season or something. I'm like, oh, cool, because it's an hour long, but it's just like, why home movies is a cinematic masterpiece. Oh, it's much better than Joker. Oh, yes, sir, it is. Oh my god, it's amazing. But that video has like 10 million views. And it's not made by the same YouTube that I was just talking about. Alright. Anyway, good to be cancelled again.